Welcome everybody to this edition of Attention Talk Video. I'm your host, ADHD and attention coach, Jeff Copper, and we're here today with Seth Perler. Seth, welcome to the show.
What's up, Jeff? Great to see you again.
I always love having you on. And so what I like about you, Seth, is you're a very creative, very innovative guy. And we've had you on before showing structures that work for you. And you've got another one today I'd like you to share with us about index cards.
Yeah, so I use bright colored index cards for some things. And what I'll talk a little bit about right now is how to make planning easier. So for the people that I work with, I usually work with middle school, high school, and college students, but for any adults as well with ADHD, one of the concepts is out of sight, out of mind. So these are in sight, they're obnoxious, they're bright, they're very loud. And what happens is that we, people with ADHD, are not great at planning. And you have short-term planning, long-term planning, daily planning. Well, I use these a lot for daily planning. So what happens is I want my life to be easier, not harder. So when I don't have to plan something a million times over and over, when I do something, anything that you do that's replicatable, that you do all the time, you can make one of these note cards and have these ready to go. So that means that any day, so let's say I wake up this morning and I think, okay, what are some of my priorities today? And I look through my cards, and let's say that here's stretching and pull-ups. Well, I went snorkeling today. I'm not doing any stretching and pull-ups today. Work on my 2E podcast that I'm building. Well, that's on the back burner. I don't care about that. Work on my inbox. Yes, this is the bane of my existence. I will be doing that today. Make videos. Yes, I will make one video today. Work on billing. I hate billing, but I have to do it often, so I'm not working on it today. Work on my piles of papers. I'm just going to go through these. Work on my success path, which is a project I'm working on for me. Work on my course with my people. Do my 2020 planning.
Yeah, so when you're going through that, what I'm seeing is that you don't have to recall what that is. You've got them all on the list. So you go through the list and you figure out what you want to do that day. That's less taxing on your executive functioning because you're using free cued recall as opposed to free recall. So when you got that together and you weeded out the ones you want, what do you do with the cards at that point?
Excellent. Yeah. So now I have, like you said, I don't have, what I heard you say is I don't have to think as much.
Yes.
So now I have these 3 things that I'm going to work on today. I might work on other things, but I know that these are 3 of my replicables. I will put them somewhere obnoxious, like on my floor or on my desk or on my pillow or somewhere where I'm going to see them. And then I will pick what order I want them in. So if I'm going to work on my piles for a half hour first, I'm going to make my video and then work on my inbox. I put them in the order that I want them. And then I might do them like this because it's to my brain less overwhelming to just see the one, and that's all I have to worry about is this one thing in my face. And you notice I do that. I am very tactile, but get rid of it. And then now I only have to focus on this one thing in my face, or I can lay them out in different ways. I do it different
one of the things I like about this is, number one, they're color coded, and the different colors can mean different things to different people if that's important to you and make it stand out. The other thing I like about this is in coaching people around procrastination, as I talk, if it's boring and has a lot of friction, a lot of steps, it's a pain in the butt. So when you are writing a list and you write it and then you have to rewrite it, those are steps that get in the way. It's hard to regulate your attention. And so, but you just have these index cards and you can change around the order. I mean, in milliseconds without having to go a lot of episodes, you can sprawl them out on a table. You can put them together. So it's very easy to manipulate these things. Now, I understand some people might use a computer screen, but computers, there's a small window. You can't stick them on the floor like you could right there. And so the utility of this really makes a lot of sense to me, and I can see how it works for you.
Mm-hmm. And I do use computer planning as well, but this is tactile. And it is obnoxiously large. This is a real Sharpie, called the Magnum. Out of sight, out of mind. I see kids sometimes use a pencil and like, no, we need obnoxious.
Yep. I interviewed the 2 things. Number one, I interviewed Autumn Zatani one time on Attention Talk Radio, and she's an educator at Purdue University, and she's talking about if you're going to educate kids, you need to make like stories obnoxious. Not the kid picked his nose. He stuck his finger up to the 3rd knuckle and pulled it out, and a string of snot came out and made a rainbow. obnoxious to kind of get their attention. And so I see some roots of that. And I go back to an interview that I did with Dr. Russell Barkley on working memory, where we went through all of his stuff and my stuff when we got to the end. And, you know, sometimes paper is high tech for those people with ADHD. And I like this structure that you're sharing with us because it shows so much that's put in together. It's very, very ADD friendly. I know it's not an iPad or a phone, but the way you put it together, it's got a lot of utility. So any other comments before we pull this together?
The last comment is that when I do things like this, I call this good lazy. This is a smart way to be lazy. There are smart ways, and the less work we have to do, the better to get our goals done.
Hey, there's nothing better than working smart, not hard, right?
Smart, yep.
All right. So anyway, Seth, thank you so much for coming on the show. For our watchers out there, please subscribe to our channel. Please leave some comments for both Seth and I. We both like to respond in those. And I always like the ideas that you guys leave. So with that, I hope you've enjoyed this edition of Attention Talk Video. Take care.